Hello and welcome to Scrap Mechanic. Today I'd like to share with you my Combine Harvester build. I got this idea from Con Gaming. In one of his solo survival series, he talked about building a multi-purpose vehicle with swappable attachments. I'll do my best to give credit to all the other creators that have inspired me along the way, and you'll find links to all their channels in the descriptions below. With all that out of the way, let's talk about this build. So combines get their name because they combine multiple harvesting steps into a single machine. In our case, we have a number of these different interchangeable attachments that harvest various raw materials, which are then fed into the common steps of the combine housed here in the tractor. The combine here gathers up materials into this front collector. This collector feeds into each of these refinery bots at the back here, and these refinery bots output into storage chests. So, just with a word of warning here, I think that it's probably a lot more efficient to have a separate vehicle for breaking down, processing raw materials, and another for doing this collecting and refining step, but this is mainly for fun. So let's just take a quick look at some of the features of the base tractor here before talking about each of these attachments. So there's saw blades on each of the sides here, and those mainly keep bots away from the most vulnerable part of the vehicle. We can back up or reverse into bots usually without much hassle at all. But if they get on one of our sides here, they can take some swipes at the wheels, and saw blades really just keep them from getting close. If we come around to the back here, we can see that there are two spare wheels up here, just in case somebody does get a little bit too close. We've got a location positioning beacon here, just to help us find this vehicle in case it ever gets lost. We have a bed. And hop into here and snugly fit into, like a real comfortable time. We've got two fuel tanks here. This one is the main fuel tank, and we've got one auxiliary for extra fuel. Got those two output storage chests that we were talking about earlier, and we've got the gas engine that powers this right there for easy access. Saw blade on this side. So if we come along to get up into the cab, we just hop up onto this wheel here, and we have a passenger saddle as well as the driver's seat. To get out of the vehicle here, we just hop up out of the roof, down off one of the sides. Alternatively, we can down. First person view is pretty good. We have pretty good visibility in there. So, in terms of controls, there's four generic switches here on the front that are used by the various attachments, and they're rigged up on command. We've got a parking brake, which shifts weight from the wheels onto these high friction blocks. And we've got a switch for the lights here on top. The tractor here has four-wheel steering, so you can see all four wheels turn, facilitate a tighter turning angle, and it gives it a surprisingly sharp radius of turn for such a large vehicle here. So that should be got out of the way. It's got a fairly sharp turning radius. There is no suspension on this, but this vehicle is so heavy that it does sometimes kind of sag down in its bearings a bit there, and that actually kind of helps us out a bit. The entire vehicle here is placed upon this concrete pad, which is painted black. And that's really important because of how the attachments are set up. And speaking of which, let's start talking about these attachments. So first off is this mining attachment. This attachment is really cool. It has 6 suspension mounted drill bits that are raised and lowered by this really clever piston system, which was designed by Con Gaming, and I've pretty much copied it verbatim. Before we get into the details of how this system here works, let's take a look at how we rig up these attachments. So I took this very simple hitch system from Moonbo. This is a really low lag and foolproof way of welding things temporarily to each other. So we use this single caution block here, and the entire attachment is cantilevered off of that. It makes it really easy to see what needs to be removed. And these pipe pieces ensure that there's really only one place that it can attach to. So we'll pull out our weld tool, and we'll bring that over to the front of the tractor here. So we'll place that down. Just to make sure we've got it in place there, you can see it's welded to these other pipe pieces. So once that's welded into place, we can climb into the cab, and we can hook up our controls. So we have these logic gates here that are hooked up to each of these switches. And one of the nice things about that is that I can click and drag in either direction, and the switch still flows the logic in the direction there. Okay. So now that those are all hooked up, we can take a look at how this drill functions. If we press 1, these pistons extend out and allows these 3 free bearings to rotate and flip the drills down towards the ground. If we push 3, we can see that all the drills start to rotate, and they all rotate inwards towards the center to push rock pieces in rather than out. They're all run on controllers, which is really useful because they consume no fuel. They actually have a lot more torque this way as well. Even if though they're turning fairly slowly, they seem to do a much better job than running it off of electric or gas engines on free bearings. So we'll turn that off. And as well, if we push 2 here, we can see that the entire assembly is rotated downwards, which creates some additional down pressure on rocks, and it's really helpful to help find the right hitboxes here. These saw blades on the sides are unpowered, and they just keep bots away from the most vulnerable parts of this attachment. So to detach the drill rig, we'll just jump up onto this step here, remove the caution block, and back up the trailer, or tractor I should say. Place that and weld it back onto its housing here. Great. So the next attachment that we'll take a look at is the portable sawmill. So we'll detach this, slide down, and we'll weld it up into place. So this design is based on the Wiggle Harvester by 00 Fant. I'll link that in the description down below. And Fant is building one of the best scrap mechanic mods out there. And he's got an excellent YouTube channel full of tutorials and really cool builds. So definitely check him out in the description. So the design, this design uses a cage here on the front, which catches trees, and these saw blades down at the bottom process it down 1 segment at. Let me just wire this up. We'll get a demonstration of how it works. This additional one that I've hooked up here, it allows us to have the lights on the front of this hooked up to the same button as the lights for the rest of the tractor. And this is really helpful because, as you can see, the cage blocks a lot of our original light. And so this just helps, especially here when we're working at night. So, how does this work exactly? So when we push the one button, you can see that the cage closes and the bottom saw blades rotate into position, closing this all off. If we push 2, we'll start up the gas engine that powers all the saw blades. And you can see we've got some warning lights going off as well. And we have this large concrete counterweight that rotates at the top. That causes the entire vehicle to oscillate here, and it really helps with any tiny pieces that might get stuck at odd angles inside the cage while the tree's being broken down. Another thing that helps us with those circumstances is we can push 4 to invert the saw blades without opening the cage. And this just allows us to make sure that we're slicing into different parts of the tree. Turn that off there for a sec. Pressing 3 here allows us to extend out these arms. And this helps us get trees that have either fallen on the ground or whose branches are too large to fit inside the cage, in which case we can cut it down like this and then drive forward, catch it into the cage, or processing it in the normal way. So, let's just, that's a little bit disorienting, all those connections. So let's just take a look here. This sawmill carries its own engine and fuel container here on the side, as you can see. Pressing either of these forward switches opens up the compartments. You can go over here and access the engine or any of the controllers to modify any of their settings. And when the gas tank opens up, it exposes this gas port, and hopefully one day we'll have automatic refueling implemented so that we can just drive this up to the fuel station and pump fuel directly into it. I think that would be pretty cool. So that's about it for this attachment. Just cut this down. Put that in the wrong spot. Back this up. Place. All right. So this is the final attachment here. It's the most general purpose, and it's also the most original, being entirely designed by me. So I'll just crawl under here, grab this attachment. Okay, putting that in place. So for this attachment, there are 2 main components here, each connected by this yellow frame. There is the crusher and the pump assembly, and we'll show you why they're called those 2 as soon as I get this hooked up here. Right. So, if I pull back over over here, we can better what's going on. All right. So, the crusher here is made of a bucket of tier 2 metal, which is almost indestructible to most normal bots that we're going to be confronting with this. When we press 1 here, the outer walls of this bucket compress and we destroy pretty much any bots that are caught in this bucket. Above the crusher, we have 6 vacuum pumps connected to 2 storage chests, and they're suspended by some really strong pistons. If we press 2, we extend these pistons and we activate these pumps. Those pumps run on a 1-second cycle and pull materials down below up into the storage chests. So in total, this attachment can be used for a number of things. Main one is safely crushing bots. In here, we can pick up any scrap metal into the collectors, which will then be refined down into tier 1 metal. We can also pick up all of the component kits for circuit boards and other parts with the vacuum pumps here. So we can do all of that, fight bots, get scrap metal without ever leaving the driver's seat. In addition, we can bring this down to the water and or oil or chemicals, and we can pump oil at around 6 units a second, which is fairly quick. In addition, it's pretty good for harvesting. Eat really quick. It's great for harvesting crops, paint flowers, or cotton. See right here. Lower the attachment by driving over these. Pick up the papers. Great. All right, folks, that's about it for my combine harvester design. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and subscribe. Either way, leave a comment down below to let me know what you think of the video and leave your feedback or any suggestions that, for the future. Again, couldn't have done this without some incredible other content creators, and please check them out. Thanks again for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.